boots, that vita da fingurani, what a bus for beauties,
one square stone slab, one steering stick, one hot air balloon basket, one construct head, one stabilizer, 4 construct sleds, 4 big construct wheels, 5 cannons, and 1 hydrant. The hydrant will make sense later. And optionally, 1 spike wall. If you don't have any of these, or if you're missing one, here are the locations of all the ingredients. And you can get a spike wall from here. As for the square stone slab, you can find them at practically any building site in the depths. Same thing for the balloon baskets. And once you have everything, here's how to make it. Place your stone slab down, and place the hot air balloon basket upside down and near the center, pointing towards you. The gap of the basket should be right over your head. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. In fact, it's probably better that it's a slightly forward. Now place the hydrant on the left or the right of the stone slab with the nozzle pointing directly at the steering stick, or if you want you can put it upside down in the middle with the nozzle pointing at the steering stick. Now get your sleds and make a sort of diamond formation with the teeth touching in between each other. And now, here's where things get a little finicky. You would think you would need to attach the wheels to the four edges of the stone slab, but actually, this makes the turn ratio a complete mess. I mean, like, yeah, it's a tank, but this doesn't feel good to drive. So instead, turn it upside down and carefully align the wheels to the sleds. Even if you need to rotate them ever so slightly, so when you turn, the wheels don't get stuck on each other or the sleds. This part may take some trial and error. If you think you got it, go for a little test drive and do some turns to see if you can make a full turn without the wheels grinding on each other. If not, adjust and do it again. And if you got it, great, let's move on to the next step. Also, keep in mind that you are flipping it upside down, so please remember which direction the wheels are going to turn, and don't be like me, who put the wheels on backwards. I'm an idiot. And since the machine is going to be resting on the wheels, try to put the axes really close to the top of the sleds so the bottom of the tank doesn't grind on the ground. Grab your stabilizer facing the front of the tank and put it on top of the middle. It doesn't need to be perfect, but the closer to the center, the better. Now for your construct head, place 2 cannons on each side of its head, one on top, and the other 2 on top of the other 2 cannons. It should look something like this. And finally for the spike wall. Albeit this is entirely optional, so you don't really need it. I put it on because it looks cool. Make sure you don't place it too low on the front of the tank because it will drag on the ground or straight up stop you if you're trying to go uphill. To get in and out of the mechanism, depending on your wheel placement, and if the ground is low enough, you can crouch down, stand up, and hop in. Or you can just climb on the fangs, crouch down, and you should drop in. Or if you put them too close, you can go on the sides of the truck and then hop in. And just like that, you're ready to go commit war crimes all over Hyrule.
Before there was time, before there was anything, there was nothing. And before there was nothing, there were monsters.
And now for some fun facts about my ballistic plasma tank, or BPT for short. This bad boy is completely explosion proof. And I know you're sitting there probably saying, what? No way, you're lying. Oh yeah? Would someone lying be willing to put themselves down to 1 heart, completely naked, and run over a bunch of bombs just to prove a point? Did you feel that? 'Cause I didn't. Now, don't get me wrong, if I had to give you a percentage, it would be about 89% blast proof. I have been on occasions where the shockwave from an explosion has knocked me off the wheel and maybe even give me a bit of damage, but I was being reckless. So, for the most part, as long as you're not a quarter heart, you should be fine in here. So if an enemy does happen to get a little too close for comfort, don't worry that the cannons are practically aiming at the hull itself. You're gonna be completely fine. Though, depending on how close, you might go flying back.
No, I don't want to go! No! No! Ah! Oh, God!
Which is perfectly fine because the stabilizer will keep us from falling over like a turtle on its back. Now, about that hydrant constantly spewing water into your face. When I originally made this armored tank, I made it down in the depths, or as I like to call it, Undertale. And in Undertale, there is little to no vegetation to catch on fire, but in the overworld, this green stuff is everywhere and it's extremely flammable. So while you're flexing your Fifth Amendment, you will basically be hotboxing yourself. Sure, you could use a fire potion, but that's just wasteful. A Hydra will instantly put you out if you do happen to catch on fire. Not only that, but as you're running over the fires, you'll be simultaneously putting them out, so you won't be turning your switch into toaster mode, spawning a bunch of hellfire everywhere. And as an added bonus, it looks like the jaws are drooling, thirsty for blood. As the host, you must quench its thirst. But hey, if you don't want to use the hydrant, then I would just wait for it to rain. That way all the fires will be instantly put out and you won't be at the risk of burning to death. It's also stealthy. Kinda. But what do I mean by that? Well, it would seem that most enemies don't actually know Link is in this monstrosity. If you're just sitting in this thing, the majority of monsters don't even know that you're there, probably because they can't see you. I've even tried whistling in this thing and no one's looking at me. I quite literally ran over Construct Captain into oblivion and not once did he notice me. I mean, probably because I was parking 50,000 kilos of steel onto his forehead, but that's besides the point. Also, I recommend taking this bad boy down to Undertale and doing some Zonite grinding. After all, if you're going to be summoning this thing, and if you're lazy like me, and you don't want to be unloading an entirety of a Home Depot, it's going to set you back about 60 plus Zonite. The gloom can't hurt you, most enemies don't stand a chance, and you can attach a bunch of light blossoms to traverse the landscape. I recommend this spot right here. It's a mostly flat ground, and you won't be running into any hills or weird land formations to stop progress. I hope you love your new killing machine, and I hope y'all add, take away, and build off of what I've presented to you. Anyway, that's all the time I got. I gotta get back to figuring out how to make a working microwave in this game. Later.